Greetings to my viewers. Today I'm offering a very short video in which I would like to highlight an absolutely almost forgotten, very little talked about, marvelous, tiny little great Panasonic lens. And this is the Pancake 12 to 35. You can see it on a camera. Tiny, tiny, tiny. And the camera is my beloved old Panasonic G9ii. How did I get this little lens and what are my experiences with that? Originally, I got the G9ii with a kit lens, which is also very good, the 14 to 140, 10 times zoom. But very soon I realized that I needed a wider lens. And at that time, I didn't have enough time, money, and resources for the 7 to 14, very, very interesting and good ultra-wide lens. So I bought this little lens, 12 to 32, and it turns out absolutely perfect. 12, which is in full frame format, is 24 millimeters. It's a very, very good wide enough lens for street photography, architectural photography, whatever. And as a plus, it has a little zoom up to 32, which is 64, so it's a little bit more than the standard 50 millimeter full frame lenses. My experiences are extremely good with this little lens. I've been using it for several years now. First of all, it is really tiny. Believe or not, it's 70 grams only. It has an interesting kind of opening. You have to turn the zoom ring to open it, but when it's closed, it's only 2.5 millimeter thick, 70 grams. Very, very sharp, absolutely sharp, and this is a stabilized lens with a good IS. What else does it do? It's not a very fast lens, of course, being a relatively cheap zoom. So it only goes from 3.5 at the widest and 5.6 at the longest position of the zoom ring. But it's very sharp, as I said, even in the corners. And it is fairly, I mean, the autofocus is fairly quick. I never had any problem with the autofocus. The only drawback is that it doesn't have a manual focus ring. In Panasonic bodies, there is a kind of roundabout way to turn it into manual, but it's not always simple, or most of the time it's not simple. So actually, if you use this lens, kind of you have to give up the manual focusing. Why I'm doing this video now? The other day, I was outside Budapest in a kind of country area with a fish restaurant on a lakeside, but I absolutely did not plan to take photographs, especially not wildlife or nature photographs. So I only had my OM1 body with me with this tiny lens. And you can see that even on a larger body like the OM1, the lens looks really nice. I'm putting it on, and this is how the camera looks. And then what happens? All of a sudden I see on the seaside, I'm not seaside, sorry, on the lake shore, a gray heron. Standing there. I didn't even want to take my camera. It was about 10 meters far, or 10 or 12 meters far. I thought that there's no point of preparing the camera from my backpack and then the bird will fly away. But it didn't fly. So finally I took my camera. The bird still was standing quietly on the lake shore. I started taking pictures and then it flew up. So I managed with a burst shoot photographing the whole takeoff of the bird. Then I went home, started editing it, and of course I realized that a fairly big crop is needed to bring out the bird. And the crop perfectly worked. It turned out that the bird is very sharp. So I made a series of this takeoff, a couple of pictures, One of them is here, so I'm going to share the screen in a second and show you the pictures. Beautifully sharp, beautifully rendered. In the end, I gave a little touch with Topaz's gigapixel just to enlarge the crop. Otherwise, I processed the raw pictures with DxO Photolab 8 and see the results yourself. And after that, when I saw that, I simply lifted my hat before this great little lens. It is about $200 or euros. Not the cheapest, but not the most expensive, and I would say that it absolutely worth the money. Before sitting to the camera now and making this little video, I also made a few shots with my old G80, not the better OM1 or the G9ii, which I also have, but with this G80 in my room on about the bookshelf and some decorations in the room. And on those pictures, which I'm also sharing, you can also see the fantastically good results. Thank you for your attention. Watch the pictures and keep with my channel. Bye-bye. Well, so this is the first base picture in RAW file format, and I'm going to lead you through the editing process. First of all, I go to DxO Photolab 8 to make the RAW conversion into JPEG. Here we are. In a different video, I already explained that I use presets. So that was shot with a Lumix camera. So I go to the Lumix preset, and it kind of gives me the basic stuff what I need. But I also want to enhance a little bit the colors, so I go to saturation and give some saturation, a little bit of clear view, not much, and more or less that's what I need. I don't think much else is needed in the raw conversion, except for the cropping. I want to crop it to make the bird bigger, and I don't think that blue something is needed on the left side. I can crop a little bit from the right side, but still quite visible what is the landscape like. And then I render it and save in full size after the crop. This is it, and it starts. Here we are. Let's have a look at it. So that's the original picture, and that's my previous edit. So I'm just thinking, where is the one I've just made? Yeah, this is the original picture. Here's my previous edit after several adjustments, and this is what I've just made. Almost nothing is to be done. It's perfectly sharp, perfectly balanced. I don't even need gigapixel on it. But if I wanted to crop it further and use Topaz gigapixels to make the bird bigger, we can do that. I start gigapixel, and first I make a crop. So something like this. And I keep the bird according to the rule of third. Okay, let's see what happens. And I want a 1-to-1 crop, which will give me 3280 per 1755, so that's still good for a good monitor picture. I will save it. Here you can see the sharpening and the denoising. Maybe sharpening is too much, so I will take back a little bit, and I save it. And here we are. So once again, that was my previous editing. This is the original raw file. You can see that the bird is very small. And this is what I've just made with an extra crop. Beautiful, sharp. Maybe it could be made a little bit lighter, but I'm not sure that this is necessary. Okay, that was the editing process, and I don't want to show you all the other edits which I've made, because it's pretty much the same, and it's a very, very simple kind of editing. I'm just going to show you the series of pictures, both the rows and my crops, what I've made out of it. So here is the next one. It's a row picture, and that's my editing out of it. And you can see, if you want to go to the details, it's pretty impressive for such a tiny little lens. Next one, the bird starts flying off. You can see it's not perfectly sharp as you look at it, but this is also partly of the raw characteristic features. So when we go to the edited JPEG, you can see that it's again sharp and impressive. Very quickly, some more pictures of this series. Here's one more. That could have been, that's still the row. So if I go to the edited one, you can see that again it's quite nicely sharp. And I guess this is the last one, but we'll see it. So again, that's the row, and in the edited version, pretty impressive, very nice bird we have on our screen. There's one more one. Here's the edited version. Again, I show you the enlarged file. And that was all, this series of the birds, and I'm going to show very quickly you the bonus pictures. So made with this lens and with the old G9ii camera, 16 megapixel, shot in my apartment. You can see this is the raw and this is the edited version. Again, quite nice and impressively sharp. Here's another one, glasses. I also used the DxO's viewpoint 5 to kind of straighten up the distortion. So this is the final version, what I'm offering to you. Here's a part of my bookshelf, and again, it's a kind of macro picture. You can see how beautifully all the writing and everything comes out on the picture. And finally, the last one is my little toy train next to my hi-fi, and this is the raw. Very nice. If you want to see the EXIF, you can see that it's 1600 ISO, 1/30th, and with 5.6 aperture, and the result is this one. I cannot say anything else but impressive, and all of you Micro Four Thirds users, I can heartily recommend to acquire this lens. You will be happy with it. Thank you very much for your attention.